what does food have to do with storytelling?
Ooh. Everything. When I think about, so back to your point of imagine if you're not going to read a recipe and you're going to cook, like, and just see where you go.
Right.
I did not cook. A lot of people assume that I cooked growing up, next to my grandmother, next to my mom, but I didn't. I didn't really start cooking until I was like in my mid-20s. And at that time, the food was really bad, but I continued cooking. I had to remember the food that I loved eating with my grandmother, and I recreated it through my senses. So, like, what was I smelling? What was I hearing? What was I tasting? Like all of the different things, because I think when you recreate a recipe like that versus, oh my gosh, I can't find Granny's, I don't know, smothered pork chop recipe. But you remember what it tasted like.
Or what it smelled like.
What it smelled like. You remember what you were talking about when you were sitting around the table.
Right.
You remember who was there. All of that is storytelling that goes into that recipe. So in Soul Food, Every Day in Celebration, that book is all about stories. And I'm taking you on a journey when you are making it, when you're eating it, when you're sharing it with your friends.
Right.
So it's all of that.
So you talked about your grandmother.
Yeah.
What role did she play in your life as a woman, as a person, as a future chef?
We went to her house every Sunday after church. I remember she was the one who told me, it is your job to be happy, not to be rich, which is how I live my life today. Oh my God, come on, pause for the minute. My sister doesn't remember this, but for me, it was so important to love what I did, and I went back to those words all the time. It is your job to be happy, not to be rich. And so she was my mentor. She was a teacher. She taught me about numbers and money, like counting the money after church, the tithes and everything. I was that little girl. She was everything. And I talked about her a lot in my books because I go back to her food, like in my head. I talk to her today. I'm like, Granny, what do I do?